Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AKAAWOL, and today
We have kind of a special thing going on here. Well, let's just get into this part here. I have 9 bracelets that were all made because a friend from on Facebook had posted up a question asking if anybody wanted her grandmother's embroidery floss. And this is not long after I had ordered that 8K of floss, or maybe right after that or something. And I'm like, you do realize I go through a amount of embroidery floss, right? So you could send it my way. And she thought that seemed like a cool idea. But then I realized this is her grandmother's. This is something personal to the family. And so I offered up another alternative idea that I would make as many bracelets as I could and pass them back to the family as a way of them having something, one more thing from their grandmother. So what I ended up getting was a great big pile of embroidery floss of all different lengths. So the first thing I had to actually do is get it all sized out. Now I use over a little more than 2 meters in my cut lengths. So I set up some markers on the table. Basically, you've seen it before in my What Is This video. They're basically drawer handles that have been attached onto some cutting boards. And that way I can wind the string around there and I can find out, is it just enough for one? Is there enough for 2, 3? How far can I take it? And after having gotten all that sorted down, I had a small box full of these things. Now, each one of my bracelets that I'm using here is there is 12 strands into each one of these things. So I had to kind of work that out, and that's why some of them end up being 12 colors, is because there wasn't enough to really pair it up to do otherwise. So where, mind you, the other ones I was able to get away with only 3 colors because there was an abundance of something. Now, Mel, I don't think actually, this is who's going to be receiving all these. Mel, I don't think actually watches my channel, so I can kind of tell you a bit about what's going on here. And later, once she gets it, I will actually send her this link to this video, this very video, so that she can see what went into this, as well as she can share it with the family, so that way they can see kind of what went into all of this. So let's start with this one here. So this is 3 colors and a lot of a background of black, which I thought was kind of fun. And this actually goes back to a video that I did before, similar kind of design. And I think that it's kind of fun. I mean, I'll have a link for you for all these bracelets in the descriptions. Not all of them actually have a pattern. Some of them I kind of winged it. But I'll kind of try to hopefully explain enough that you guys can get what it was. Mind you too, when I started this off, this is like the first one I did. When I started this off, I was thinking, going absolutely all out complex, do something amazing with each and every one of them. By the end, I realized that that's not what matters. Mel is not going to be able to tell the difference between a pattern I've done once and a pattern I've done 100 times. And I think what I want everybody else to take from this is, with our skill set of being able to make bracelets, we have the ability to make somebody's day. And I think that's kind of important. It's not something I think that we necessarily dwell on. We don't, think about that as a bracelet maker. But I did hear that when Mel had told her mom about this, her mom actually started to weep a bit. So, yeah, I'm not sure I'm ready for what's coming out when these things finally get delivered. But so, okay, that was my first bracelet, and I do have some like video clips of me actually putting most of these things together. So, I might have to actually cut away to show you those, because I really don't remember which ones have the videos and which ones don't anymore. The next one, this is fun. This is basically, I went one to the side, and then two to this side, and then two to this side, and two, and two, and two. And I didn't quite realize what it was going to do until I kind of got underway. And I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of cool. And it's a whole rainbow. It actually is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. So yeah, this one turned out kind of fun. Um, Again, this is some of those kind of patterns like the no pattern, no problems type things, because those kind of come instinctive to me and I don't have to think about it too much. I just kind of set a basic rule of what I'm aiming to do, and I can just go at it and do the work, and it works out really well for me, I think. So that was fun. The next one. Okay. So this is another one of those where there's three colors, but there was a lot more of this kind of greenish color. I don't know what else to call that. But what I did was I was trying to create it like a mountain scene, or maybe a bar graph or something. But I kind of kept it a little bit random. Yeah, I did not try to actually set out to do anything specific with it. Um, and I think that kind of shows a bit, because there is a sort of there is no kind of rhyme or reason to how it comes across. But, and again, I don't have a pattern for this. This is another one of those, as you're making it, you make adjustments and you try to make sure that you have enough to fill in the backside of the main line that's running through it. So in this one, that it's going to be unique. And I like that kind of stuff. I like knowing that I couldn't necessarily duplicate this unless you gave me a photograph and I sat and painstakingly went at it. I think that there should be more of that in the bracelet making. I mean, this is my own personal opinion. I'm not attacking anybody who follows by patterns religiously. I'm just saying this is one of my methodologies. This is how I kind of work with it. This one. Okay, so this is, I started off with a zigzag going, and then when I got to where I assumed the middle would be, I brought it down straight and brought it the other direction and reversed my way out of it. Now, this is something in my early bracelet making days I did a lot of, putting a diamond or just basically reversing whatever I started with to see if I could make it actually match from that center point. Doing this it's a great challenge. It's something that really kind of gets your cognitive skills up, because you're trying to match it, but you're doing it in reverse. So that was kind of I don't know. I thought that was particularly fun. Next one. This is basically running the stripe down the middle. Everything down for the 3 rows in the middle is going to the left. Everything else is going to the right. And as a result, the way that the colors, by the time it bounces off the side and comes through here, it really gives you that fun effect, especially when it's like this. This is 12 colors. In order to start this one, it needed to have 6 colors shifted to one side and 6 colors shifted to the other. Mind you, they're doubled up, right? So that's how you can get away with something like this with the 12 colors, is I've got 6 unique colors to this side and 6 colors to this side. And I think, again, this is one of those where it's real easy to do, as you don't need a pattern for it, as long as you kind of in your mind can envision what happens with the first one. Because the very first knot, when you actually bring these 2 bits of the loop together, that first knot is going over towards the left, right? And then you go one more, because it's the center and then +1. The next one goes 3, right? So if you get past that, you should pretty much have a handle on it, I would suspect. Next is a complicated pattern, and I will have the basic pattern to this over on my website. I did not do this one per se, because this one has these white ones on the outside. Now, this wasn't me trying to use straight whatever method or whatever that I keep hearing about. This was about the fact that the pattern I had is something I thought that was interesting is for 10 colors or 10 strings, and this is 12. And so to make up for the difference, I just did something with the extra colors to the outside. It didn't have the exact number of colors needed to do it. So like this lighter pink kind of comes out, and then the darker pink comes out, and then the lighter pink and darker, which that was supposed to, according to the pattern, have been just one color. But feeling like, I can do anything and this is fun, I decided I'd go ahead and give it a shot. And I have to say, I really like the way this one turned out. Now, it did use some of the strings, so a little bit more than the others. So as a result, it is a bit shorter than the others. So this one might go to somebody who's a bit younger or who has a really small wrist. Next up is a zigzag, but I'm not sure if you guys can see this, or I'm going to have to actually take a real nice macro photo. But because some of the colors are close but not the same, and essentially it was like 12 colors again, I paired them up, and you get this sort of a, not quite variegated, but you get a mix up when the colors are actually, can we get close enough? I'm trying to get the camera to, it really gives it this fun effect. Especially, I think I really liked this kind of a green and a gold that was in here. Now, and I'll have photos of each one of these bracelets over on the website as well. So if you really want to like kind of zoom in, you're trying to copy, or you're trying to grasp what I'm talking about, all of these will be over on my webpage. So this one, I liked the way that sort of turned out, and that was fun. And it's a simple zigzag. And yes, I've done this kind of zigzag where it goes 5 over and 3 down, 5 over, right? I've done it hundreds of times, but again, this is different because mixing up the colors, getting it to come out, I think it made it really completely unique, and that was fun. And so that caused me to say, well, what would happen? So like this one goes completely bonkers, right? It's the same zigzag, but what I did was the colors of the green, there was like 3 of this bright green and 3 of this olive green, and there was a couple of these other odd shades of green. It was nothing too that I could really build a pattern out of. There's a couple like beige. This was like basically after putting together all the colors for all the bracelets, this one was basically what there's left. And this is kind of typical when it comes to like embroidery floss, that the green is, there's so many more colors, right? And so you kind of have to come up with something for it itself. And what I did was, instead of pairing them up with the exact color on top of itself, I made sure that they were all completely as mixed up as I could. And I think my wife described it best when she says that it came out looking as though it's pixelated. And it gives it a real unique kind of vibe to it, almost a camouflage look or something, I suspect, kinda. But it's fun and it's different, and if you kind of stare at it, you'll see that there is that zigzag. But also, if you stare at it, there is a bit of whimsical fun with the colors themselves. So that, I think it really kind of, it's different, it's fun, and it's easy for you guys to pull off. You want to give it a try, I say absolutely go for it. Then the last one I made is this. Now this is again one of those patterns that I've been playing with forever. I like how it has this little infinity symbol in the center, and that it's kind of a balanced when you wear it. So and this is, like I said, like as I was getting to the end, I realized it didn't need to be unique as far as patterns goes. It just needs to be special. And this is one of my favorite fallback to patterns that I have. And since this one actually did have the 6 different colors in it with all of the strings pairing up nicely, I think it turned out the way that I would have wanted it to. I used the darker, more bold colors the most, like the dark purple and the red. and then let the lighter colors be on the inside. So that way it gave it as much punch as possible. So these are all of them. Mel, I will be getting a hold of you soon. And I guess, well, no, actually, I think I already have your address. So I'll just send these along and wait till I hear something back from you. So um, hopefully I've inspired you guys. Hopefully that you guys watch this video and you're thinking to yourself, hey, you know what? I could make somebody's day and, put something together that's fun and like even if it is the same old patterns that those can be totally something new for somebody else, right? So hopefully you're inspired. Hopefully you go out, you make somebody's day. Um, Before I go, I want to say thank you to all my Patreon supporters. You guys make this possible. It's with your funds that makes it so I can even do the shipping for this, because right now, taking care of the house and whatnot, I don't have any other source of an income. So I really appreciate that. You guys are helping make this kind of events happen and making these videos possible. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart. And until next time, don't get your strings in a bunch.